Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about the zodiac sign Scorpio and their health, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, the moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I look at as far as Scorpio goes, well, Scorpio, unlike Cancer and Pisces, can have a very strong constitution. They are often very resilient and they could bounce back from illnesses very quickly, more so than Cancer or Pisces, who are not known to have stupendous immunity systems. Now, the thing about Scorpio is they could often work through debilitations and work through illnesses better than any of the other signs, I believe, because Scorpio's middle name might be resiliency. And Scorpio is basically a no-nonsense sign, and that could apply to their health as well. They don't want to say, well, this health condition prohibited me from doing such and such. I had a friend of mine that has a Scorpio rising, and one time she said to me in a very abrupt way, she says, well, you could tell me all your excuses later. So it's very no-nonsense, and I think it goes without saying that could pertain and apply to their health as well. They don't want to feel like they're conquered. Scorpio often has an indomitable spirit, and they don't want the health issue or health concern to dominate them or to conquer them. So anyway, and Scorpio is often about transformation and regeneration, and transformation can strongly apply to their health. If a doctor tells them, say, well, you know what, you need to pack on some weight or put on some muscle, Scorpio, though being a fixed sign and not very adaptable, is one that can transform their physical body probably quicker and better than any of the other signs, because transformation is so synonymous with this sign. If a doctor tells them, hey, you know, you need to lose some weight, you got to do this, hey, that's what I got to do. I think what's interesting, many of you may have heard of prolific actor Matthew McConaughey, has a sun in Scorpio. And I know this was just for acting, but I thought it was interesting. He lost like 38 pounds or something close to that to play a role. The title of the movie was like Magic Mike or something similar to that. And Scorpios they have that ability to transform themselves, and whether, I mean, in this case it was for an acting role, I understand, but still they can, as far as whether gaining weight, losing weight, they can generally, I think they could have that ability to change and transform as far as that goes, quicker than a lot of the other signs or almost any of the other signs on average. Now, as far as any possible health concerns for Scorpio, well, Scorpio is connected with the sex organ, so of course sexually transmitted diseases, STDs such as HIV, AIDS, are possible, herpes. Now, men can have can be susceptible to testicular issues, women vaginal issues. I mean, yeast infection could be example, vaginal yeast infection, I should say. Cervix could be another example. And also Scorpio could be susceptible to, say, gonorrhea, could be something else. Now, Scorpio is not, most Scorpios aren't going to be promiscuous, but you have to keep in mind that Scorpio is, on average, it is the most sexual sign of the zodiac. I think a lot of that is attributed to having the co-rulership of Mars and Pluto, and you have this really strong, powerful sex drive. You have the power with Pluto, then you have Mars connected with sex, so you understand how that goes. And another thing, too, that Scorpio is also connected with the excretory system, so constipation, diarrhea, hemorrhoids can be prominent with Scorpio issues. So it's a lot of times it's imperative to get like a bowel regulator. Also, colon cancer is another possible issue. Now, keep in mind that Aries often falls on the 6th house cusp for Scorpio. So Scorpio might have a vulnerability to Aries like health issues such as fractures to the skull, injuries to the face and head. Also, another thing as far as in the brain as well, some examples could be apoplexy, brain aneurysms. Those are some things. And also, keep in mind, another thing to look at as far as Scorpio goes, any kind of like mental disorders, OCD could be one, obsessive compulsive disorder, because Scorpio is probably the one that has the tendency to be the most fixated on things. And sometimes when this can escalate, and if it's something where it's a mental disorder, OCD could be the one, would be the one that you would connect with that. And also keep in mind that Libra often falls on the 12th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Scorpio. And Libra, of course, is a very sociable sign. 12th house is about our restrictions often. So we look at this, and it could indicate possible social anxiety disorder. Also, another thing for Scorpio too is also avoidant personality disorder, where you have like this aversion to being sociable and to being around others, because Scorpio is a type, of course, Scorpio is very introverted, very reserved, very secretive type personality. So if this was to be something which would escalate to some kind of mental illness, the avoidant personality disorder could be the one that they would have, and they may be more susceptible to that than any of the other zodiac signs, perhaps with the exception maybe of Cancer, because Cancer is, of course, introverted, and also Pisces as well, and Pisces loves isolation and loves seclusion. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Scorpio and their health, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about Sagittarius and their health. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.